in places all over. And I'm proud that we can continue to tackle this issue, but we have a lot more work to do, and I very much would welcome your input to ensuring that we can continually protect individuals in the state. Just a few more issues, and then we'll get into our community events. I also have a bill on the governor's desk, which is Assembly Bill 1968. There was a gentleman by the name of Dr. Jorge Wong, who was former president of the California Psychological Association. He currently practices as a psychologist at Asian Americans for Community Involvement. There was a Campbell resident who was placed on a 5150 hold twice in 1 year, which refers to that of an individual who has been deemed not to be stable. Now, this piece of legislation says that if you are placed on a 5150 hold twice in 1 year, you are prohibited from life from owning a firearm because of fear of harm to yourself and harm to the community. You can still petition a judge.
Unbelievable!
You can still petition a judge to allow for an opportunity to see if this individual should be able to possess a firearm. But I told you that story about Dr. Jorge Wong, in which he testified in Sacramento and said there was an individual who shot herself because she was placed twice in 1 year on two 5150 holds. So not only is this for the community, but for the individuals themselves. And again, California, we want to make sure that we have a safe space for everyone.
A safe environment. How can you eliminate a constitutional right at the law? Well, if you don't agree,
finally, let's talk infrastructure. I know a very sexy topic for all of us, but nonetheless a very important one. And I know all of you care equally about housing, the issues of housing, and the issues of our roads. Look, nothing is going to be solved overnight, and given how we do planning with respect to local jurisdictions, these times take years and oftentimes decades. But with the state of California, we have focused on a number of different initiatives which allows and empowers local jurisdictions to continue to build. And that's why, for example, in the city of Cupertino, the dilapidated Valco project will be built with hundreds upon hundreds of affordable housing units to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place in accordance with jobs. Now just think about that for one moment with respect to the city of Cupertino. The most valuable company in the world, that of Apple Computer, has built its spaceship, and we are proud of that. At the same time, we need to make sure that we have a balanced approach to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place. That is where we need to further advance the things that we care about and making sure that we have the roadways and, by the way, that the corporations are paying their fair share for the public benefit that is being used by the profits that are being generated alike. So, for what I consider the fun part, if I can kindly call up the mayor for the city of Campbell, Mayor Paul Resnikoff, our Los Gatos former mayor and current council member, Mariko Segov, San Jose council member Deb Davis, Montesreno Mayor Burton Craig, Saratoga Mayor Marilyn Bernal, and we have a staff member also for the city of Cupertino. So this year, tax revenues in the state of California have not been touched or changed within 20 years. But this year, with bipartisan support, both Republicans and Democrats, we were able to pass a bill with respect to transportation funding, a much sorely needed revenue stream that, frankly, is difficult for the political establishment to support. But as a direct result, these resources will not be used for any other issue other than transportation and goes directly to our local communities. And so, for the city of Campbell, Each year, the state of California, $250,000 for our city of Campbell. And from the city of San Jose, we have Councilmember Sergio Jimenez and Councilmember Deb Davis. A whopping $6 million to the state every single year. And I know these will be good stewards of our public trust because this is all of our public taxpayer dollars at work. To the town of Los Gatos, $220,000. Okay, and to the city of Monte Sereno, a whopping $16,000. They sound how much the residents make in one day. To the city of Cupertino, $271,000. And to our lovely city of Saratoga, $178,000. Again, our public officials, your public servants will continually be here. These are our representatives, and I know that they are very accessible, so should you have any interest in understanding where these dedicated resources are going to the specific project and their local communities, I know that they'll be delighted to share with you. So again, to our public officials, thank you very much. Finally now, before the exciting part of our community awards, there are some upcoming events that I wanted to share with you because this forum does not necessarily allow for a one-on-one dialogue, so I very much welcome an opportunity to talk to you. So, the first event, we have Boba and Bills. If you like tea and boba, we can talk and share some tea and have an opportunity to talk to you there about any bill ideas or any other things and challenges that you might have, D&D or anything else. Senior Scam Stopper, there are a number of scams that are victimizing a lot of our seniors, and I'm sure many of you have been recipients of mail or fraudulent attacks, but we have a number of different agencies, including the Postal Service, to talk to you about how to verify whether or not this is real or not. So it's not just for seniors, it's for everyone as well. And then a holiday open house, to which I mentioned to you that we have an open house for the district office that serves each and every one of you. And if you have bill ideas, we have a tree trimming opportunity there as well. So additional opportunities to be engaged. Okay, now to our community awards. If you are here to support these individuals, I know that you'll join us in recognizing our wonderful community members. First up, I would like to bring up Mayor Burton Craig from the city of Monte Sereno to introduce our next awardee, and that is none other than our Chancellor, George Blumenthal, who is UC Santa Cruz's 10th Chancellor and has been a proud banana slug for over a whopping 40 years.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of introducing George R. Blumenthal, who is the UC Santa Cruz's 10th Chancellor. He joined the campus in 1972 as a faculty member in the astronomy and astrophysics area, and he was named Chancellor on September 19, 2007, after serving as an interim Chancellor for 14 months. Mr. Blumenthal's appointment as Chancellor followed many years as a distinguished professor, researcher, and campus leader, and theoretical astrophysicist. Chancellor Blumenthal made path-breaking contributions to our understanding of the origin of the structure of the universe, including galaxies and clusters of galaxies, and to the role that dark matter plays in the formation and evolution of this structure. He is co-author of 2 textbooks, 21st Century Astronomy and Understanding Our Universe. Chancellor Blumenthal serves widely on many government boards, including Vice Chair of the California Association for Research in Astronomy, which oversees the W.M. Keck Observatory on the summit of Mauna Kea, Hawaii. In 2017, he was appointed to a seat on the governing board of the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine, and he is also a member of the joint venture Silicon Valley and Silicon Valley Leadership Boards. He earned his bachelor's degree at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee and his PhD in physics at the University of California, San Diego. In 2011, he was awarded an honorary PhD in astrophysics and leadership in higher education from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. He is married to Kelly Weisberg, a professor of law at UC Hastings College of Law in San Francisco. They have 2 adult children.
Housing for students.
Thank you very much. Boy, what was that, black matter that did you study, Chancellor Blumenthal?
Dark matter.
Dark matter.
I think you hear about this in the Big Bang Theory.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chancellor. And thank you very much for your service to our public institutions. I also will say that we do not have a UC San Jose or a UC Silicon Valley. So as I understand, Chancellor Blumenthal has always said, we're tucked tightly between UC Berkeley and Santa Cruz. But he's always made himself omnipresent, ensuring to say, hey, you really want to come down to UC Santa Cruz. So you're a great advocate for that. Next up, former superintendent of the Campbell School District, Aaron Andrews, to introduce our next awardee, school board member, Danielle Cohen. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Great to be here. It's an honor and a privilege to present to you the quintessential board member and educator. Yes, I said educator. More to come on that. Oh yes, Danielle. She hates this, so that's why I'm loving it. Danielle Cohen has served on the Campbell Union School District Board for 14 years. During her tenure, what she has done is ensure that all of our students receive an education that is beyond the expected. In fact, Danielle is a fierce advocate for public education for students in California, whether serving on the Campbell Union School District Board, serving on the Santa Clara County Board of Education as a representative there and their treasurer for their association, or serving as a delegate to the California School Boards Association. She always is one who is active, is a part, and is a doer. The other thing I'd like to tell you about Danielle is she's a champion for all kids, whether they're general education students, whether they're special education students, whether they're alternative ed students, or students of all colors, race, and whatever students feel they need to be. So she is a true champion for all students all the time. I'd also like to tell you a few things about her as well. During her tenure on the Campbell Union School District Board, the community has thrived and the district has thrived. Danielle has been instrumental in the following practices. 1, she's ensured that Campbell Union School District is always fiscally responsible and solvent. She's been an active participant in the passage of several school bonds as well as parcel taxes. In fact, you will find Danielle always a person on phone banks, always walking precincts. That's the kind of person she is. She's not doesn't just talk about it, she is about it. As a result of that, our schools have been able to have phenomenal modernization projects. In fact, every one of our schools has had some form of modernization, and that's all a direct result of this young lady's leadership. In addition to that, she's a fierce advocate for expanding student learning opportunities and conditions. In fact, as we all know, as researchers, the most important aspect of education is ensuring that our students start off with a solid foundation. And as a result of that, Campbell Union School District has preschools in every one of its elementary schools, and she's been the champion of that as well. So let's give her a hand for that. As a software engineer, people think that she is one who truly believes in math and sciences, and believe me, she does. But she also is a strong advocate for the arts for all kids. She also is a strong advocate for technology in all of our classrooms. As you notice, there are several districts who were here who received checks from Assemblyman Lowe. One of the things Danielle has done, she was instrumental in making sure that our district, which has 6 different cities involved in our footprint, are a part of the district itself. So we have meetings with those particular districts. In addition to that, you may scoff at the idea that I call her an educator, because as I said, she's a software engineer. But she is committed to implementing, monitoring, and evaluating policies, and that's the position of a board member, is to set policies and directions for a district. She ensures that that always happens. In fact, her commitment is unwavering. Now, those of you who don't know Danielle may not know that she's very opinionated. And she does not have a poker face at all. In fact, sometimes she would try to sit on her hands to make sure that she wouldn't say what was on her mind, but it eventually always came out. But what I'd like to say is this. I can remember as a superintendent, I was very adamant about putting in place a program that I thought was ideal for the district. And Danielle asked me a question in front of the public from the dais. And that is that an adult decision or a kid decision? That has always resonated with me. And so every decision I make has been based on is it an adult decision or a kid decision. As a member of our board, she eloquently as I eloquently pontificate on the rationale for making informed decisions, Danielle has been the voice, the conscience, and the supporter for all students. I am thrilled that Assemblyman Lowe has selected my friend, my colleague, and my board member as a recipient of this prestigious award. I present to you the District 28 Community Hero, Danielle Cohen.
Thank you very much, and Danielle, you may recall when we first met at Starbucks on Winchester, maybe almost 16 years ago, in which there was a vacancy on the Campbell School Board, and I talked to her and I said, I'm interested in public service, and you were so kind to provide me that opportunity, so thank you very much for your continued service, even to this day. Next up, I'd like to bring up our Vice Mayor for the City of Saratoga, Manny Capello, to introduce our next awardee, Reverend Eric Swanson. Reverend Swanson has been a strong advocate for many years, especially convening local faith leaders to discuss sensible firearm reform for our state.
Woo!
Thank you so much. I have the great honor of introducing a close friend and colleague of mine, Reverend Eric Swanson. For the past 13 years, Swanson has served as the pastor of West Hope Presbyterian Church in Saratoga, where he's been working to build and deepen community. Over the years, West Hope has become a intentionally contemplative and spiritually vibrant ministry. And I tell you, the congregation is an amazing group of people that Reverend Swanson has led. And in his spare time, if he has any, he is currently working in partnership with the City of Saratoga as an organizer for our living room conversations I'm not sure if many of you know what living room conversations are. I see a few nods in the affirmative, and so you know the value of that. He's also the chair of our Saratoga Ministerial Association, which is made up of every clergy from every religious institution that we have in our city. It's an amazing group of individuals. When they come together, the things that they discuss, the things that they consider are absolutely amazing. And as a council, we get one of us each year that serves as sort of the liaison to the Ministerial Association. And I tell you, we fight over that position to try to get as close as we can to this group. He's also founded CIV, C-I-V. This stands for Community Interfaith Voice, with his son Aiden, who is right here in the front row as well, as a way of bringing together faith leaders to work with elected officials for sensible firearm safety legislation. And let me tell you, they are very effective in achieving this goal of safe firearm safety legislation. He's worked to unite a variety of social action groups to try and make our schools and communities a safer place for everyone. He's here with his wife, he's here with his son, and he's also here with his mother. And I'd like to invite them up for the photo once we're through here. And so please come on up. This is a family thing. As you guys know, whenever an individual in the family volunteers time in order to put things in place to make communities better, it's oftentimes the family that suffer as well by not having this individual in the home. And so you deserve to be up here as much as either of us. Anyway, thank you very much.
Look what you did. Look what you did, Manny. Give her a hanger. Thank you very much. Now we'd like to bring up Deputy District Attorney Josue Fuentes to award our next recipient, which is none other than Stephanie Black. Stephanie is beloved by the youth in Starbird neighborhoods in our city of San Jose, and our office was proud to partner with them over the holidays. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. It is a true pleasure to be here to introduce Stephanie as a recipient of this award. When I think of a community hero, I really think of service, selflessness, and tenacity. I work in the crime prevention space as a member of the Community Prosecution Unit. It's my job to build relationships and partnerships with organizations like Community United to really get to the root of the issue. Because if we wait till our youth are already coming into contact with the juvenile justice system, it's too late. So when I look at the service that Stephanie has done through Community United San Jose since 2011, I can see results. And that requires selflessness, because when she and her team, Aaron Boki included, who's here in the crowd, are there in the evenings providing literacy programs, mathematics programs, access to STEM programs, robotics programs to youth that live in a gang hotspot where they have to deal with violence and trauma, some of which many people never have to experience. When the students, the youth that they serve, have parents that are incarcerated, have parents that are living below the poverty level, that youth center, Community United, is all they have. And that requires selflessness, time away from her family, time away from spouses, from her kids. And it requires tenacity. Last year, they lost a significant funding source in order to provide summer programming to these at-risk youth so they have somewhere to go. So even though school is out, they can maintain reading levels. They can keep up with their mathematics and get caught up. Because I know working in truancy and chronic absenteeism, these youth, one of the main reasons they don't go to school is because they're behind in math. They're behind in reading. When they show up to class, they are traumatized daily by not being able to follow the curriculum. And she and her team were tenacious. And throughout the year, they scraped, I don't know how they did it, but they found the funding. And they were able to send those youth to camp away from the urban jungle, away from the urban sprawl to Yosemite, right? Thankfully, they beat the timing with the wildfires we heard about earlier, but they were there. See, selflessness, she was still able to do it. And she and her team do that. They bring a beacon of hope. For National Night Out in August, they had over 420 residents. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, hey, if you guys got 100 people, you guys did great. They got over 420 in a community that is very insulated and stays indoors because it's too dangerous to go outdoors. And I could go on, but I don't need to. Because Community United San Jose, Stephanie and their team, they're there, they're doing it. Go visit them. See the youth. You're going to see youth skateboarding out front, people in the computer lab doing their homework. They're in the study room catching up on math. They're getting a bite to eat. Because for some of them, that is the only meal that they're going to get that day. And that is all through Stephanie and her team. So without further ado, Stephanie.
Tenacious, you certainly are. Entire team. And now, next up, I'd like to bring up a former Los Gatos mayor and current council member, Americo Sayok, to introduce our next awardee, Max Dugan, who currently is serving as the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Silicon Valley.
I'm proud to introduce another community hero that is working tirelessly for our youth. Many of you are aware of the Boys and Girls Club and all the great work they do. I'm proud to introduce to you the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Silicon Valley, Max Dugan. He was born in Santa Monica, where he grew up in the local Boys and Girls Club. He has a finance degree from the Carroll School of Management in Boston College. Following college, he worked in the financial sector, New York, LA, and in 2009 had a change in heart and decided that he was going to walk away from finance to teach AP Economics and Government at his alma mater. So that was very long. I think it was a 1 year tryout, turned into 2 years, and eventually he was named the director of the school at the age of 26. So, yeah. And I think in his bio, his proudest moment was in his 5 years. He had a 100% graduation rate during that time. So incredibly impressive. So we are very lucky to have him now. He is a proud resident of Los Gatos. He and his wife, Laura, who I believe is also here, is that correct? Okay. They live in Los Gatos with their 5-year-old son, Gavin, their 1-year-old daughter, 5-year-old Emma, 3-year-old Gavin, and 1-year-old daughter, Audrey. And they both serve as directors on the Warmenhoven Family Foundation. And again, I am very proud to introduce to all of you the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club.
What are the odds I don't get a signal repeatedly drop myself?
Next up, I'd like to call up Aubrey Tolliver, the co-anchor of the Cali High Sports Bay Area, to introduce our next awardee, Robert Bronstein. Robert is a fellow Charger and a Spartan who highlights the athletic achievements of high school students in our community.
I am very pleased to introduce to you my boss, Robert Bronstein. I got a good gig. Robert is an Almaden native who attended Leland High School before earning his bachelor's degree from San Jose State and master's from the University of Missouri. In 1992, Robert created the first high school sports show to air in a major television market. And a decade later, he started his very own production company to produce a high school sports show as his own small business. That originally aired out of his living room. That was called Cal High Sports Area, and the show has been profitable every year since its start. And the show's success gained the attention from the San Francisco 49ers. The renowned franchise purchased a controlling interest of the show just over a year ago. Cal High Sports does so much more than just what the viewers see on their television screen. It shows teenagers achieving positive goals, and over the past 17 years, the show and its sponsors have given more than $500,000 in scholarships to students overcoming adversity and others who do compelling volunteer work in their community. Aside from the show, Robert also works to mentor young people, from athletes in need to young broadcasters looking to advance their broadcasting career. I know Robert is very honored by this award, and we thank you for honoring him tonight.
So Robert, is still a job? Still have a job?
I do.
You still have a job?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, only just dependent on how well I did.
Glowing remarks. Okay. For Wendy and Morris Wu, who could not be here tonight, but just a quick introduction from our Deputy Director for the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, if we could kindly call you up for just brief remarks for our recipients.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very pleased to introduce successful Taiwan immigrant, Dr. Muye Morris Wu, and his better half, Ms. Wendy Wu. Dr. Morris is current president of World Federation of Chinese Traders Alumni and president of World Taiwan Benevolent Association. And his better half, Wendy, is to be a president of several overseas Chinese American organizations, including WFCTA, WTBA, TACC, and she also founded the organization World Federation of Chinese Businesswomen Northern California chapter and co-founder of Overseas Chinese Association Northern California chapter. Over the past 20 years, Morris and Wendy have been actively sponsoring, organizing, contributing to numerous service events that benefit all the above mentioned organizations as well as local communities. Dr. Morris Wu's story is a very successful immigrant story, and he and Wendy moved to California from Taiwan 40 years ago. Then after obtained his PhD degrees from Stanford University, then worked in high-tech industries. Then this couple started to feed back to the community and devoted their time on helping local Asian American communities as volunteers all the way along. And this lovely couple are faithful supporters to multicultural value of the United States of America. Thank you.
Oh, yes, my apologies. The team didn't let me eat all day, so I'm kind of hungry, and I see the food and I'm trying to get us going. But of course, we will kind of move on. Next up, I'd like to bring up San Jose Council Member Sergio Jimenez to introduce our next awardee, Rudy Flores. Rudy chairs the San Jose Commission for Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services and ensuring that we have open spaces and creating neighborhood associations. Welcome, Councilman.
So I'll take the comments about the food as an urgency for me to speak through this. So I'm actually axed out half my comments just because. So listen, there are many public officials in here, and oftentimes we're referred to as elected officials, politicians even. But one of the things I think we all aspire to is to be a public servant. And I really think that word public servant is embodied by my friend Rudy Flores. Everything he does embodies public servant. Time and again, he strives to do good, to improve, to serve. I had the chance to meet him at the Parks Commission when I originally became the vice chair and then the chair of the commission. And I quickly saw that he was very interested in serving and that he cared and that he asked a lot of good questions. And so over the years, he's essentially become a parks ambassador for the city of San Jose. You can find him in my district, District 2, certainly District 9. He's recently done a lot of wonderful things, trying to bring together a lot of leadership within the communities in District 9. And so I really do think that you've become a valuable asset to both the city of San Jose and the 28th Assembly District. And I call him a friend, and I'm very honored to be here, and I hope to be half the public servant that you are. And I appreciate everything you do.
Second to last, now I'd like to call up San Jose Councilmember Deb Davis to introduce our next awardee, Lisa Blanchard. Lisa's work with survivors of sexual assault is inspiring to us all as Executive Director and founder of the Grateful Garment Project. Welcome, Councilman.
I'm pleased to introduce Lisa Blanchard this evening. As founder and executive director, Lisa has been the guiding force and visionary of the Grateful Garment Project. Lisa's unique combination of experience in nonprofit, customer service, law, and management produces the creative and conceptual leadership required to bring the Grateful Garment Project to the state of California and beyond. Lisa's vision is that no victim of sexual assault ever experiences further suffering due to lack of resources. Over the years, and just a few years actually, the Grateful Garment Project has grown from one clothing closet in one location, providing emergency resources for victims of sexual violence, to 84 clothing closets, plus an additional 5 programs providing resources to victims of sexual violence and human trafficking. Lisa, we are honored to have you as part of our community.
I'm over here.
Great opportunities to find volunteer service and members of our strong community. Last but not least, I'd now like to welcome our very own Campbell's Police Chief, Dave Carmichael, to introduce our next awardee, Agent Dan Stromska, the Campbell Police Department.
So I'd like to thank, first of all, Assemblymember Lowe for giving me this opportunity to recognize one of our outstanding officers. And I think, too frequently we hear of just the danger part of our job. And police officers, firefighters are recognized for those personal sacrifices that they make in putting themselves in harm's way. And Dan has certainly done that, and I can share 100 stories tonight. But really I wanted to focus instead on the body of work that he does every day for our community, and which is why we're recognizing him as a community hero. So Dan, working from patrol, continues to really set the bar for pushing beyond where you'd normally stop on a call. He'll take a simple arrest and work it into something much more complex, and he does this from his patrol car. And I think that for most people, they'll think that just making an arrest is the end. But Dan Stromska really takes it one step further, two steps further, and can turn something which would be a very basic contact into a significant criminal investigation. In doing so, we've taken a lot of serious criminals off the street and gotten them the help they deserve. But more importantly than that, Dan really exemplifies the other side of law enforcement. And in Campbell, we talk about marrying those two concepts together. On one side, we have effective enforcement activity, keeping everybody safe, all the stuff that people think we do on television, and that's all it is. But really, there's the other side, and that is the side that we pride ourselves so much on in Campbell, which is our community involvement. On any given day, you might find Dan at a lemonade stand, buying lemonade with the kids. Well, my favorite story of his, and he hates when I tell this because I've told it before, happened when he was on his motorcycle. He was a traffic officer for a number of years, recently rotated back to patrol. And he and his partner were going on a call. They were going to a crash. And as they were leaving, they saw on the side of the street, on the sidewalk, a young boy on a little toy motorcycle. And the boy caught their attention. They kept going to their call. But when he left and finished their crash investigation, Dan and his partner had the wherewithal to come back to where they had seen that boy. He had already gone inside. They knocked on doors, found out from neighbors where this kid lived, asked the mom, hey, would your son mind if, or would he like it if he came out and saw our motorcycle? And convinced him to come out. I guess he had a big grin on his face, judging from the picture I saw. And they sat on his little motorcycle and propped him up on theirs and took a photo. And I can only imagine the impact that that had on that young boy, and I'm sure he'll carry that with him the rest of his life. And I really wanted to thank Dan for that, and to me that's what that community hero is keeping people safe while we're asleep at night. Rest assured that there are outstanding men and women that are out there keeping you and your family safe, your property safe as best we can, and at the same time seeking out those opportunities to connect with a child without a call for service, without it being a program, and without any fanfare. So it's our pleasure to give him a little fanfare tonight. His wife is here, his mom, and Dan, we just wanted to thank you for day in and day out doing a great job for our department and our community. He really is so thankful to be up here with me. This is what he lives for. So thank you, Dan Stromska.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Of course, thank you very much to our Delamar High School Performance Band, our Girl Scout troops, and our community resources. Frost Cupcakes, thank you so much for keeping us very much with sugaring us. And we also want to thank our sponsors. Thank you very much. I see Dora from Coca-Cola, who is also here, and many of our community partners as well, too. So, having said that, Patrick, you said put up. You said you have something for this? Sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
You have a... Okay, thank you very much. So having said that, let us continue to celebrate and enjoy each other's company, and we very much welcome you to please get some refreshments and continue this conversation. Please seek out all of our community honorees to be able to thank them and to learn more about their organizations as well, so we have additional opportunities. Thank you so very much, and it's been a pleasure.
Will all of our awardees please come up? We'd love, and our respective guests, we'd love to get a group photo of all the awardees. All the awardees, please come to the stage. Thank you.